Hey, I'm back today with maybe like a redo, like a redux, we're gonna do it again because I'm back to finally finishing Forewarned the second time after they added a bunch of achievements, I think earlier this year, and thought we would talk about it again because Forewarned was one of like the first games that I did one of these videos on, and I really like this game, and they really brickwalled me when they added new achievements when they did some updates, and it's been quite a while since I've been able to actually get it done, and here we are, I got them done. So if you didn't watch the first one, this would be a good time to go back and watch the first one, but Forewarned is like it's very similar to Phasmophobia. You're trying to determine the Magi type while you're in a procedurally generated tomb, and you're collecting evidence to do that. But what you want to do is steal the relic, and you either want to leave or you want to continue the puzzle out and do the banishment ritual so that you could banish the Magi. Like I said in a lot of the original video, the first one did a little bit more of a breakdown on how the game is played. But again, it's been updated a lot since then. They've done a lot of visual changes. Even the achievements have different, photos. A lot of items, a lot of upgrades, a lot of quality of life stuff. There are weekly challenges now. There are prestige points. A lot of things have been altered. Even like the lore pages and the artifacts are like physically items that are scattered throughout the tombs now. Like lore pages are literally just pages that are out in the map instead of like a floating item pickup. And they can be a little harder to see, but it feels more appropriate. They've certainly added at least one more Magi type since that time, and I think a couple items, at least one item, and the TNT, they have the pets now, they have the customization with the prestige points, so there's some new stuff. There's also, I'm pretty sure, way more inventory slots than the last time, 2 years ago or whenever I was talking about that. So there's a lot more to explore. The mechanics are different. Like there's the roaming ghost that used to just kind of bother you sometimes goes a much further way to bothering you now, to the point of being a threat actually. The more you loot the tombs, the more aggressive it becomes, and depending on like the difficulty you play on, that could matter. But it's certainly more scary. Some of the destruction events I think are truly too loud, even in my headphones, at any point. It is scary, like the random ghosts can just grab you and drag you back to the center, which I bet is incredibly disorienting in VR, but the core mechanic of what the game was is still there, but I feel like this is a much better state of the game, and it is, I do enjoy it more now probably than I even before. A bunch of different maps, a few new mechanics, new stuff to do. I think it is better now. But let's talk about the achievements that I had to get to refinish this game, because in like the second wave of them re-adding stuff, there are some that are much harder now, like genuinely much harder. I don't remember the first one. Like the original problem I had, I think, was the lore pages, and it's no longer the lore pages, but they did certainly add more. I think the overall total for lore pages now is up to like something like 170. Yeah, 170. The lore pages aren't that bad. The same trick that worked in the last time works now. Load a map, run a circle, pick up the lore pages, and leave. Actually, you have a better time now, because technically it's an achievement to use the TNT once, but you're going to want to keep doing that. If you ever find a TNT room, I believe it's guaranteed to have a lore page and an artifact. I think they added more artifacts, but the artifacts aren't the problem here. The lore pages are going to take you a while, but are really not the problem. You could get anywhere from 1 to 0, or like up to at least 4, maybe 5, depending on the map. We only ever really played on a small map. I bet a large map would still maybe have more than that. But you can get there with the lore pages. Lore pages aren't really a problem, they're just kind of noise. There's a bunch of random, smaller things. Max out your inventory slot. There's a little hidden one for throwing something into the trash can in the main office. I think is really fun. I really like that. They have a new thing where you can transcribe a lore page, and you have to do a couple. I think probably up to 75 of them, I think is the highest one I'm looking at here. Not an issue. If you have enough money to upgrade the tablet thing, I forgot what it's called, you can just transcribe them for free. And if you already got this far, you probably have 75 lore pages, so yeah, it's not an issue. And they added a fair amount of, normal things, like burn a mummy, that's fine. Like, collect a relic without dying, that's fine. Prove the Medjai exist, to basically take a photo of one. Those are all within, general, mechanics of how the game works. And you could do that out of the gate. You'd probably get those no issue. Some people may not be, taking photos of them or whatever, but, burning a mummy, you'll eventually need to do that. You're not going to have to go out of your way to do that. It's just going to happen. Change your appearance in the mirror, use a med kit. I really like them adding more basic ones related to regular gameplay, but I don't know if it's necessary to do something like use a med kit, because it's kind of starting to get a little bloated with, you're just going to start getting a lot of them, in the first 20 minutes of playing the game, because it's a lot of really standard game mechanics. They did add one for banishing the newer guy that I can't pronounce, Toms. He's same as anybody else. It's just another one to banish. My last few that's probably worth pointing out are that you do have new weekly challenges. Doing all the weekly challenges for a week is one of them. That's not that bad here. It's not Phasmophobia. They're not usually that hard. And doing all the weekly challenges give you a prestige point, which you can earn by doing weeklies instead of hitting a max level and prestiging all your gear, which really kind of makes me not want to do that, because I'm level 100. I am just piling gold for no reason. I don't have anything to buy anymore. But you could just spend one prestige point. So if you had to do all the weekly challenges, you got a prestige point, so it's just going to snowball into that. I would recommend, buy what you want from the shop, but I would buy maybe one of the pets, maybe the cat, something useful. I don't think the dog is that useful because it barks at, nearby enemies, but it could be. It's all up to what you want. The last few, become a mummy. You have to be in multiplayer to do that. So if you aren't getting that, you aren't in multiplayer, because you have to actually respawn as a good or bad mummy, and you'd have to be killed to do it. So I had to wait until, I hopped on multiplayer to do it. The last couple started to get awfully tricky. Collect a relic on brutal difficulty. That's not that bad. You just have to set it to brutal. Now, those difficulty modifiers don't affect a lot of other things. They built a different modifier system that can be changed for added or lower difficulty. Brutal basically just affects the aggressiveness of everything and how much damage you take. And if you can run it on normal, you could run it on brutal. You could run it on easy. You only have to really bother with brutal if it tells you. Otherwise, you could leave it on easy and put it on a small map and never touch it. But beating it on brutal is not that bad. The other one for beating it with timed mode on might be that annoying, because you could set it as a really, really high timer, but the timed mode is the one that when the time runs out, the tomb locks and releases the Medjai with you in the tomb, and then you wouldn't know who it is. And trying to get it to give you evidence is kind of stupid. It's kind of annoying, but it only has to be on. So you can change every other modifier, time mode on if you're having trouble with it. But time mode can be weird. Used to be that was part of the regular difficulty settings, but now they've broken it apart and you can either add or remove times, which is, fine. Let me see, we got a collect a relic with the agony modifier on. That was quite tricky. It's not the most impossible thing in the world, and you only need to collect the relic. But I think, if I remember correctly, Agony had basically the timer active. It was very close to being brutal difficulty with a 3-minute timer, and all of the other settings that mode had kind of didn't mean anything other than they either had the same or lower interaction rate, and you had a 3-minute timer. So we did a few games where you couldn't get evidence fast enough and the tomb would lock. We would, 3 minutes in, You watch your timer. If you don't get any evidence, leave. Just leave, because it's not worth guessing. It's gonna lock you in anyway. You only have to take the relic and leave. You don't need to do a banishment ritual on Agony. You don't need to fight all of that. And the map size doesn't matter, so put it on the smallest map and just fight the timer. You can get it. You just need to, be tighter and quicker on collecting the evidence. And to some degree, just lucky. Let's be real, just lucky. You need it to actually give you the evidence you need to eliminate people quickly. You could get proof of it being Ofri's awfully fast. And truthfully, I want Ofri's because he's one of the easiest ones to just not die to. But Agony is the one that's going to take a little bit of focus. And honestly, at the end of it, the last one I had to get that took the most time was the Ushabti Master for collecting 50 Ushabti. And I never confirmed this or not, but I had to do 50 banishment rituals because, as far as I know, that's the only way to collect Ushabti. So you had to do 50 fully complete games, which, after I had already played the game as much as I did before, and I did banishments before, none of those counted towards this, which is frustrating because I didn't want to play 50 more games just to do this. If you had loaded the game in from scratch, this might not be that bad because you'd probably be in the ballpark of half of them, or a little over half of them by the time you were bothering to collect all of the achievements for this, but having done half of them already and had to restart 50 matches, it didn't take me 50 matches to do everything else, so it just took forever. It took me just too long and it was annoying. I suspected that you could get the Ushabti from the puzzle and turn around and leave. I don't know that you have to do the banishment ritual completely to claim the Ushabti, but I did. That's up to you. You should check that. I should have checked that, but here we are. I'm recording and I didn't. But the Ushabti one was the final one that drove me insane. If you want like a final rule of thumb for the state of it on Steam, the 3 hardest or the 3 least collected are Ushabti Master at 0.7%, Agony at 0.5%, and the 170 lore pages at 0.4%. So, those are really the 3 that are going to probably test you the most, because it's not about skill, it's kind of about time and luck. Like Agony's time and luck, Ushabti's basically just straight up time. Once you get used to doing the banishment rituals, they're not a problem. By the time we were done with it, I don't think I needed the Hyrodex to even translate the number symbols. I just knew what they were. I'm not going to memorize their whole alphabet to do the alphabetical one, but the numerical one, we were getting really good at remembering, I think it was like the 1, the N, the spiral. Oh, that's where I get it messed up. I think the finger, the plant, the frog, and then the man. Someone should check that and see if I'm insane. I bet I did it. I bet I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, it's between the finger and the plant, probably. But yeah, closing statements. I still really like this game. They added more achievements. If for some reason the devs ever heard me talk about this game, please stop adding achievements. We're done. Keep it tight, Don't add a bunch of fluff that's like use a health pack. You got enough of those now. You got probably a little more of those than you need. And stop doing this 50 Ushabti crap. 25 was fine. Honestly, collecting 1 would have been fine. Don't make me sit here and grind it because you want hours on the game, okay? I don't want achievements to be, I'm not trying to etch it onto my gravestone, okay? I'm just trying to play a game here. I'm having fun playing a game. I'm not trying to, it's not an achievement for my life. Bloons Tower Defense 6. I'm looking at you. But yeah, we got another couple, this is an outro, by the way. We got another couple games that I want to do videos for. The day I'm recording this, Planet Coaster 2 is going to come out, and I did do the first one, so we'll see if I can do the second one. I did also just complete Windblown, so you should expect a video on that, because I intend to record it right now when I'm done with this, so we'll see. And in a really funny way, the first time that I did a video for Forewarned, I mentioned that Phasmophobia had no achievements, but now it does. In that entire time span, they added achievements, and I'm trying to get them. I have nearly all of them, but my main thing is they have a weekly thing that I need to do 5 more weeks of challenges, and then I would have to do a bunch of grinding, but I'm time locked out of it. So if I can ever do the 5 weeks I'll just grind it out, and then I would finally get to be able to actually talk about Phasmophobia. But that's where we're at. I'm about to just spaz out, you know, about to just not, about to do a bunch of videos and then have nothing to talk about for a while because I'm gonna get lost in the winter arc doing nothing. But hey, I mean, if you got anything you want me to look at, anything to like play, you know, let me know. Leave a comment, talk about it. If I left anything out, check the first video again, but it's a bit dated. I mean, I played Forewarned for something like 80 hours, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I could do all of this solo, so if you need any help, I mean, ask me a question, I could probably help you. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get out of this one. I'll see you guys next time.